Before we get into a very serious video about the trash pack, what's your thoughts about combining something like scratch and sniff stickers with Trashies? Is it possible? Would you like to see that? Leave a comment. I'm sure Miss Toys will be watching. Well, on screen is of course some trash pack toys, but one set of these is real and the other set is a very, very clever knockoff. In fact, it's one of the most sinister knockoffs that I've ever seen. So which one do you think is real? Do you think this set here is real? Or do you think this set here is real? This video is about educating you into understanding and identifying the real trash pack from the knockoffs. But first, let's take a look at some other very famous toy franchises which are so often replicated as fake knockoff toys. At the time of making this video, Minecraft toys are super popular. Where I live, it's almost impossible to buy the real licensed product, yet I can get my hands on copious amounts of knockoff toys. When I purchased this 10-inch plush, the storekeeper said to me, they can't keep up with demand. That's how popular these toys are at the moment. It's not just plush toys. How about a Minecraft bottle for going to school? I'm pretty sure every child would like that, but hey, you can get Adventure Time as well. Both of these are knockoff, non-licensed products. Sometimes the deception is very clever and it takes a very experienced eye to spot that this is a knockoff product. And while we're thinking Adventure Time, I've got this plush Finn here. It's got his little backpack, and the shopkeeper wanted to tell me this is a real McCoy because it's got this tag on it. I've got a funny feeling it's a knockoff. In fact, I'm certain. Maybe if the real Finn comes in and sorts out that faker, we can start to see what we need to see. And basically it's this tag here relating it back to the Cartoon Network. But it gets deeper than that. Here's a plush Lightning McQueen. I suppose it looks okay, and look at that. It's got a, what seems like a Disney Pixar Cars tag on it. Most people would look at that and think it's the real deal, but there's no info on the back. Sadly, my friends, this is also an elaborate knockoff. And then there's the thought you can easily spot a knockoff because it's lacking in detail and just doesn't look right. Well, this Lightning McQueen here is a fantastic looking vehicle, but sadly it's a knockoff. There's absolutely no licensing detail on this beautiful small car. With a toy brand I am very familiar with, I know this is a knockoff and I know what to look for. But the fact is that many people may see this and be easily tricked to think that it's a real licensed toy. And then there's the thought, well, you buy a knockoff item and you get it for a very reasonable price. Well, I can assure you that's not always the case. What's even more confusing, there are some franchises who seem to revel in the fact that they are being knocked off. And there'd be some companies having kittens for the fact that they're being cleverly cloned in packaging. That's the fake. That's the real. That's the fake. That's the real. Well, let's take a look at our little trash cans again. Which one's the real, which one's the fake? That one there is the knockoff fake one, and that one there is the real one. Believe it or not. Let's take a look at the packaging. I'm pretty sure if most people saw that, they'd be thinking they are dealing with the real trash pack gang. What's very interesting here is we've got some international packaging. We've got all different languages represented. It's saying Series 1, but any true trash pack fan will know that Series 1 never looked like that. But the overall look of this packaging is very, very deceptive. And I'm told by the storekeeper who sold me this that it's a very popular toy. And whoever's done this knockoff has done their homework on the look and feel of this toy. They really have. And what is most strange is when I was told it's a very popular seller is when I looked at the price. I paid $7 for this knockoff trash pack toy. Down here it says the company is Play Game. We'll talk about the real packaging soon, but we just want to look at this first. I can tell you that's the wrong company name. And what we should do is look at the Trashies inside, but just remember that this cost $7. That's very important to remember. Well, I bought 4 packets of this fake knockoff toy. There's actually 2 colour variations. There's the limey green edge and there's an orange edge. It all says Series 1. I'm going to keep a couple of boxes intact, but I'm going to open up 2 here because I really want to look at the Trashies. And it's sad. I shouldn't be laughing. It's actually very sad. Well, it's got a thing there. We'll look at that. But we'll get the Trashies out and we'll open up this one as well. Whoa. Come on, Trashies, out you come. Or Fako Trashies. Oh, here's one of those. We'll look at that, and the trash cans. Okay, here's a little collector's pamphlet that came with the fake. I've got to keep reminding people here, fake, because you look at this and you'll think it's real. There it is there, all the pictures. I mean, that's a very good representation of what Moose Toys does. It's scary in all sorts of ways. It's obvious this knockoff is going hard. We've got 6 international languages there. But as clever as this looks, I don't think it's as vibrant or as crisp a printing job as you would find on the real Trash Pack toys. Well, here are the bins that come in the knockoff 5-pack. I think the first thing we're going to talk about is the size of the large bin is actually smaller than the real large Trash Pack bins. The smaller bins are actually about the same size. I've just got a real blue one in there for a moment. And of course, I think most people know that Series 5, the yellow series, came as a toilet, not as a bin style. These trash cans are very clever clones. If I bring in a real blue one here, let's look at some details underneath that will show us that it's the real McCoy. Hopefully you can see there, it says copyright Moose 2011, made in China. It's going to take very good eyes to see that. Let's take a look at the knockoff to see what we've got. And underneath that bin there is no detailing at all to Moose Toys. Well, here's a real one. It's the large bin, and you can clearly see who owns this and the fact that it's made in China. Let's take a look at the faker. There's not one bit of information under there, you nasty, nasty fake bin. And anyone who's into this toy will understand it's more than just about those bins, it's about the little critters, the trashies that come out of those bins. And you're probably wondering, why are you making such a big deal about this knockoff toy? Well, I am, because I know one thing about this toy that maybe you don't. The earlier series of this toy is starting to command some big dollars on eBay. There are people obviously sincerely collecting this, and what would be very unfortunate is if these knockoffs started to seed their way into eBay sales, making out that they are actually part of the legitimate franchise, which they are not. Well, that was a 5-pack that I opened. That's what it said, 5 on the outside, and I've got a funny feeling that 6 little fake Trashies came out of it. The other thing to note here, we've got a duplication going on there. We've got 2 of the same fake Trashie. And under some close scrutiny, there's some things that I can say about this fake Trashie that I do not see on the real Trash Pack toys. The first thing I will say is I don't see overpainting, as you can see there, going on. Got a bit of derpy eye action, but that's sort of normal. There's a bit of overpainting going on there. But most importantly, there's no copyright markings on this toy at all. I think the earlier ones that Moose did said China, and I think later on they end up saying Moose China. Here's another look at another fake Trashie, and just the paint detailing is just sloppy, would be the best word for it. There's no, there we go, see that, all that spilled paint underneath there. You would not see that on a real Trashie. Let's have a look at this angel thing, whatever it is. It's just fairly roughly made. Mind you, it takes a pretty keen eye to see that. And maybe the best way to illustrate that is this one is the fake one. It had no info underneath. And this is the real one. And that's what you find underneath. Moose China. But I tell you what, I bet you there's going to be some people who get fooled by this. I'm sure of it. And the other thing is, here's another fake one. If I look very carefully at the way it's been moulded, you can see there's actually splits in it. So the moulds these came out of have probably been just moulded off other Trashies. They're crappy moulds. It's a crappy job. It's a crappy paint job. It's just crappy all over. And maybe go back to that seam at the back there. I mean, look at that. I can just rip this thing apart. Look at that. Bang. Goodbye Trashie. I can literally turn it inside out. Complete rubbish. Well, they are Trashies, of course. And sure, we looked at one 5-pack, which was actually a 6-pack. There was another pack that I opened. Let's take a look at what we get. Let's see if we get any sort of variation. Maybe we can get this fake Trashy ship to start sinking if we see there's no variation going on. Come on out, you little fakers. Let's see what you've got. Well, here's the lineup of fake Trashies that came out of that 5-pack. 6 of them came out just like the other 5-pack. There's one very important thing to note here. Look at all the duplication going on. I only opened 2 packets and I've got a ton of duplicates between those 2 packets. I've got a funny feeling after seeing all the duplication going on here, and I look back to this pamphlet that tells me about all this variation, I would say that's a crock of rubbish. And I say that with some confidence because every time I look at fake products, it's about deceiving the consumer. I certainly hope I've educated you in what to look out for in this very, very nasty knockoff toy, remembering it costs $7. Let's be reminded of what the real McCoy looks like. This was Series 4, it had square red bins, and Series 5 had loos, or dunnies, toilets, some people may call them. And very importantly, there's a little moose there. Let's take a look at what you're looking out for in a real trash pack toy, and let's also look at the price of the real McCoy. On the back of the real Trashies, if we examine the packaging, we're going to see a website link. We're also going to see some warnings about the toy, and most importantly, we're going to see this moose head. If you're not seeing that moose, you're dealing with the faker. Well, let's brush all that rubbish away and start to analyse the price. Okay, I have been a very busy little shopper. We already know that each of those costs $7. I purchased a real McCoy 5-pack Series 5, a real McCoy 5-pack Series 4, a real McCoy 12-pack Series 5, and the real McCoy 12-pack Series 4. Wait till you see the prices of the real ones versus the fake. Well, here's the clincher. The real trash pack toys, the 5-packs, are $7 a pack. It's the same price as the fake ones. That is just unbelievable. The $10 one there, the 12-pack Series 5 was on special, and the $13 was the 12-pack Series 4. Now I'll describe that in a much simpler form. That there was the same cost as that there. But in a strange way, I'm not at all surprised, because what I've found is that very, very popular toys command high prices even in knockoff form, as trashy as they are. There's one thing that I'm curious about, and I know I've got a big worldwide audience on YouTube, and that's lovely, and maybe I'm going to use the power of that to find out some information about this knockoff toy. I'd just like you to leave a comment if you've seen this knockoff toy in your country. I don't want to know the exact place where you found it. I'm more curious about the country, or if it's a large country, maybe you can detail the state or region of the country where you saw this toy. As an example, if I was going to comment, I would say, well, I'm from Australia and I saw these toys in a market in Sydney. Maybe you've seen these for sale on the internet, and if you have, send me a link via PM. Please don't put links in the comments of this video. This really is a nasty knockoff toy for the fact that it's such a deception. And not only that, it's being sold at the same price as the real toy. And I feel that's wrong. Very, very wrong. So how good are you at spotting the real from the fake? Well, maybe if I put some titles up, you can see if you've got the knack. People who are familiar with the Trash Pack gang are going to spot these fake toys easily. Those who are not that familiar with this toy are going to struggle in identifying these fake toys. Well, I hope you've learned something in this video. I can tell you I was very shocked to see the Trash Packs as a knockoff toy, but in a very strange way, it's telling us all that it's a very popular toy. Okay, that's it. Bye for now.